Hey guys, and welcome to your introduction to Google SketchUp for Schools. So as you see here, we're on our Google SketchUp page. And so Google is used for 3D modeling and designing. And SketchUp Schools was designed specifically for use with your school G Suite account. So that means that if you have not watched the how to get started with Google SketchUp video, you need to go back and watch that first. Now it's integrated with your Google Drive, so that means that we're going to be going into our Google Drives and setting up a folder specifically for SketchUp, and that will make it very easy for you to load and upload your assignments into Schoology. It's also designed to work on Chromebooks or any internet connected computer. However, it does not work well with iPad. So if you're a student that has an iPad, you need to ask your parent if you can use their laptop or Chromebook, or if you don't have access to that type of technology, you need to talk to your teacher about alternate assignments. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be going to our Google Drive and we're going to be setting up a SketchUp project folder. And so as Google Drive opens up, we're going to be right-clicking on our folder area. And sometimes this takes a moment. You're going to click on New Folder, and we're going to name our folder SketchUp Projects. Once you have that, you're going to hit Create. And now when we go in SketchUp, we'll be able to save directly to that folder. The next thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be going to your Gmail, and you're going to be opening up your Google Apps and opening up SketchUp for Schools. And when you open it up, this is what it should look like. Now, if you notice here, we have our menus on both left and right-hand side. We're going to briefly go over a couple of those menu options. The first is going to be the Select tool, which is going to be here on the top. And that's used to select your objects. And so as we click on our person here, which we'll call Freddie, you can see that it selected him. Now, Freddie is used to give you a sense of the size of the objects we draw in our model. So you can keep Freddie here, or you can use your erase tool to erase him. Now, the problem with erasing him is that then you lose your perspective of your size. So if you did not want to erase him, you can always go back and you can hit undo. And so he's back. The next tool here on our list is going to be our paint tools. And so you can see here on our right-hand menus, we have components. And as we hit components, we can hit our browse. And this is going to open up all of our different options for colors, materials, paint styles. It even has metal, it has glass, it has tile, synthetic surfaces. So anything pretty much that you would want to build as you were constructing a house or designing a house would have here. Okay, and to close that, you're going to hover over the right hand side of your materials area and you just hit the X button. The next menu option is our line menu. And so we either can draw straight lines or we can draw freehand. And so if you were drawing a project or a prototype and it required a line that was not straight, you could freehand that into your drawing. The next menu option is your arcs. And so you can see that we have different shapes. And the way the arcs work is when you click on the plane, you can draw, you click one time, and then you can draw the different shapes of the arcs. So if we wanted to draw a circle going in this direction, oh, sometimes it's a little tricky with the shapes. Let's say we'll do that. And so now you have a shape of an arc. And so to go back and erase that, we can hit erase, or we can just simply hit the undo. The area is going to be your shapes. So it starts off with rectangles, but it has circles, it has the polygons, and it even has 3D text shapes. The next menu option is your push-pull tool, and we'll get into that. And so that way you can push and pull objects to go to different dimensions. This is your shells, so you can do different trims or intersects or splits of different shapes, and we'll get into that in a later project. Here's your move tool, so that's the move up or down. You also have a tape measure and all your measurement tools. You have this walk option, so you can walk in and out of project houses or shapes, and you can look at different dimensions of that. And finally, you have all of your dimensional tools. So you have your orbit, your pan, and your zoom. And so the orbit tool, we'll start off with that one. When we click the orbit tool and we right click and we hold that right click button down, we can orbit left and right. The pan tool looks like a hand, and we can move up, down, left, or right. And then you have your zoom tool, and if you have a mouse, you can zoom in and out. Now the zoom tool will also work with your left button, it just moves a lot slower. Okay, and so that is your menu options on your left-hand side. So now we're going to start with our first project, which is going to be a very simple house. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select our rectangle tool. And we're going to make sure that we are on the bottom plane. And so you can see that we have different planes here. We have our vertical plane, which is blue. And then we have our horizontal planes, which are green and red. So we're going to make sure that we're on our bottom plane. We're going to draw a shape, and we're going to go to our dimensions. And when we let go of the mouse button, we're going to see our dimensions on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And so now that your dimensions are there, we're going to type in 10 foot, comma, space 10 foot. And once we do that, we're going to hit the enter button, and that's going to make a 10 foot by 10 foot object. And so now we're going to use our move tool. We're going to select that object, and we make sure that we move that, and we're going to put Freddy right in the middle of our little house. And so that way, when we build our house, Freddy is going to be inside. Next tool we're going to use is our push-pull tool. So we're going to select our push-pull tool. As you hover over the plane for the bottom of our house, you can see it changes color. And so that means that it is selected. And so now we're going to pull that up. We're going to hit the let go of our mouse button, and then we're going to make that 10 feet as well. So 10 feet, hit enter, and you can see that now we have a 10-foot house. Okay, and so now what you want to do, what you might want to do is you might want to zoom out. You might want to hit your orbit tool, and then you can start orbiting around and start looking at the different sides. Okay, so now we have a basic house. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to build a front door. And so we're going to take our rectangle tool one more time, and now we're going to go to the center midpoint, and we're going to draw a door. And so we want that door to be 2 feet by 6 feet tall. So 2 feet, comma, 6 feet. And then if that's not the right measurement that you want, you can always go back and hit undo, right? And so now we're going to go back and we're going to do it again. This time we're going to do it 3 feet by 6 feet. 3 feet, 6 feet, enter. And now we have a standard 3 foot by 6 foot door. And so remember, anytime that you make a mistake, you can always go back and hit that undo button. You also have your erase button. The problem with the erase is if you try to erase this, it's going to erase one line at a time rather than just undo. So now that we have our door, now we want to make a window. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to make a circular window next to our door. So we're going to go back to our shapes. We're going to hit circle, and I'm just going to make a little circular window right here. And so you place your circular window, and then you can use your move tool to move that window. And so we want to select move tool, and we're just going to move that object to an area where we like it. All right, so now we have our window, we have our door. Now we're going to make a roof. So what we're going to do is use our orbit tool. We're going to orbit so we can see the top of our roof. And what I want you to do is you're going to select your line tool. Now, with your line tool, as you start moving through, you can see that it clicks to the different points, right, to different axes. You can also see it selects your midpoints. So it gives you that exact midpoint of whatever shape you have. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw a line on the top, and you're going to the midpoint. Wait till it clicks. Now, once from that midpoint, you're going to go from that midpoint to the midpoint on to the other side of your building, right? So you have midpoint to midpoint, and now we have our midpoint lines. Now, to make a real simple roof, slanted roof, what we're going to do is we're going to select our move tool again. We're going to select that midpoint line, and then we're going to move up. And so you see that as we move it up, you see that there's a black line, a black dotted line. You can see that when it clicks onto the blue axis, that means that it would be an even measurement. So if we let go of our line anywhere other than the back axis, it is not going to be even, right? So we want to make sure that we click on the blue axis and let go. Now, it may not look like it's straight, but as you zoom around or as you orbit around, you're going to be able to see that it is a perfect triangle. Okay, and so now we have our house, our simple house. Okay, so now let's add some features to our house. So the feature I want to add is we're going to add a chimney. Okay, so when we come up to our line tool, first thing we're going to do before we go to the line tool is we're going to draw a square on top of our house where a chimney would be, right? And so we're going to draw a little square first. Now, we can't just pull that square up because it will pull out, and I'll show you what would happen. So if we just pull this up, again, right? So let's go back. So if we just pull out this chimney, it's going to look crooked, right? So we can do that. So we have to draw a chimney in. So we're going to use our line tool, and we're going to simply draw some straight lines up, and it will show you when those lines are even. Now we can use our orbit tool to kind of orbit around. And you can see that our lines are even. So now we're going to continue and finish out drawing all of our lines on our chimney. So we're drawing a line to there. We're going to draw a line from here to here. There, and now we have a perfect chimney on top of our roof. So let's go back to our orbit tool. Let's orbit around. Okay, so now we have our house, right? It's kind of a plain blank house, so now we're going to add some color. So over here on your right-hand menu, you have your components, which is this square box right here. Or you have components here, and then this is materials. So we're going to select our materials, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this into a brick house. So we're going to go down, and where it says brick cladding and siding, we're going to select a brick that we like. Okay, so for me, I'm going to select just the traditional brick. You can select any brick that you would like, and you're going to paint the sides of your house. So you're going to have to use that orb tool to get around. Select your brick, use the orbit tool, and then select your brick. Okay, so now all four sides of our house are colored, right? And so now we're going to select our roofing. So let's go back and we're going to go down and select roofing. And you're going to pick a roofing that you like. So I like traditional roofing right here. And select that one. You select any color that you like. And then we have to rotate around again to get to the other side. Okay, and then the last thing that we have to do is color our chimney. Okay, and so for our chimney, I'm going to use the same color bricks that I had on my house. Sometimes this takes a little bit of time. Just make sure that before you click on that it is selected onto the right plane, right? You don't want to select your roof area. Now say that I was doing like this back side, and since it's so small, say that I did mistakenly hit my roof. Remember again, all you have to do is go up here to your undo button. So I'm going to hit that side, and then I'll do the inside of my roof. So I'm just going to go to colors, the inside of my chimney, I mean. I'm just going to go to colors, and you can make it as detailed as you want. Like you could literally draw another square on the inside. But for this example right here, all we're going to do is just go to colors. And then I'm just going to select a darker color for the inside of that chimney. Okay. So I'm just scroll down and maybe put this black on top. I don't know how that worked, but let's just do that black again. Okay, there we go. Okay, super fun. Okay, so now we have everything done except for our windows and our doors. Okay, so for our window, let's do our window first. And we're going to select a glass that we like to see. And now when we do that, we're going to be able to see Freddy. Freddy's on the inside of our house. And now we're going to our door. And for our door, we're just going to do a traditional wooden door. Select any one that you like. Okay. And what we're going to do is now we're going to close our patterns up. And I'm going to show you that walk tool that we talked about, right? So I'm going to go select. I'm going to right click on my door. I'm going to hit hide. And then I'm going to use the walk tool. And I'm going to walk inside. Right? And I'm just walking inside. And all I'm doing is just walking as we're walking inside, right? And so now we're inside, and now we can go back to that walk menu. We can use our eyes, and we can actually look up. And we can look in different directions that we want, right? We can look back outside. We can look. And so this is a good way, like if you wanted to decorate the inside of your house, you can do that as well, right? So if you wanted to put that back wall, back to our materials, and we want to put some wallpaper, right? We scroll down to see what type of wallpaper we like. Some pretty ugly colors. Let's just say we like this one. And so then we're just gonna paint the inside of our walls with that wall color. Okay. And so now we're going to scroll back out. And then to unhide your project, so let's go up here. So sorry about how slow this is right now. The internet is not very good. And so to go back up, we're going to hit our entity info. Sorry, model info. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, it was display. Sorry, display. So we're gonna hit our hidden objects, right? We're gonna unhide all of our hidden objects, and so our door comes back on. Okay, guys, so that is Google SketchUp, right? The last thing that we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back. We're gonna hit our save. We're gonna name this as Project 1. When we hit OK, it's gonna open our Google Drive, and this is where I do that at the beginning. We're going to open up that folder. We're going to hit select our SketchUp project that we started at the beginning. We're going to hit select. And now our project is saved inside our Google Drive. And now you can take your zoom, your orbit tool, and now you can orbit around and you can check to make sure that everything's good. If everything's good and it's properly saved, now you're going to go back to your drive and you're going to submit that drive assignment into your Schoology. Any questions, let me know. I hope that helped you out. Sorry for the little glitch here, but that happens sometimes. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you guys later.